Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us here this morning. We're really delighted to kick off an exciting day about blockchain technology for cybersecurity and social impact. We're very honored to have the collaboration of INRIA and the French Consul General here this morning, and representatives will lead off with a few welcoming remarks. I want to invite to the podium Emmanuel Lebrien Damian, the Consul General of France in San Francisco.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's always a pleasure to come to UC Berkeley, but it's especially a very big pleasure to be here this morning to open this international conference on blockchain technology hosted by CITRIS and the Banatao Institute in partnership with INRIA. In particular, I would like to express my gratitude to our co-hosts, CITRIS and the Banatao Institute on one hand, Professor Kostas Panos, its director, and Dr. Camille Crittenden, its deputy director. Thank you very much for your welcoming. And INRIA, on the other hand, traveling from France, François Sillon, its deputy CEO for science, and Thierry Priol, its director for international partnerships. I understand INRIA is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, so happy birthday and a warm welcome to Berkeley. As you are well aware, on a topic like blockchain technology, it all starts here in the Bay Area and in its best universities. It turns out that France has a long-standing tradition of collaboration with the University of California, Berkeley. Yesterday, there was a celebration in Paris at the Collège de France for the 20th anniversary of the France Berkeley Fund. It was the occasion to pause and reflect on the many and wonderful connections developed between French and Berkeley researchers. And I think that the INRIA at Silicon Valley program is one of the best examples of these partnerships. It's dedicated to the development of associated research teams, technology transfer, and digital entrepreneurship. It includes the holding every year of an annual two-day conference, and I think this is the 7th of them. Ladies and gentlemen, moving to the topic of the conference now. You are all aware that France elected a new president a few weeks ago. I think you noticed as well that Emmanuel Macron is very much into innovation and technology. It turns out that through his experience as a former banker and as Minister of Economy, he developed a firm grasp and sound knowledge of the blockchain technology. That might surprise you. So case in point. It's under his leadership that Banque de France, France's central bank, launched trials to test this technology. Case in number 2. He was the minister who signed an executive order to allow the use of blockchain for small treasury bonds. Therefore, it should come as no surprise that France has witnessed over the past month an effervescence of burgeoning blockchain-based startups. One of the most promising one is called Isaac, and it's an INRIA spin-off. Its CEO will be here tonight and will be participating in one of the panels. The field of applications for this technology is endless, from energy management and autonomous cars to healthcare and industrial process optimization. And so we have many startups developing on these topics. But I would like to underline as well the fact that many major French corporations beyond startups have also recently launched a blockchain development program. Of course, and that is the whole point of today's conference, there is more to it than pure technological breakthrough or economic development. As for most cutting-edge technologies, blockchain has first and foremost a societal and, dare I say, a political dimension. And this is one of the reasons why the consulate was so interested in choosing this topic. Recent weeks have, for instance, shown, unfortunately, how much cybersecurity has become in that regard a more and more prominent issue. It has become clear that the same technology that was once dedicated to cryptocurrencies could now serve as a promising tool to prevent cyber attacks and security incidents and ultimately better protect our democracies. Our government is well aware of these dawning promises. It recently decided to convene a task force focused on blockchain. This task force will research the blockchain implementations that exist today, explore the benefits and costs of public sector applications, and suggest how the French government can support its development. This effort is led by France Stratégie. France Stratégie is an ad hoc commission that reports directly to the Office of the Prime Minister and acts as Research and Strategy Development Office on socio-economic issues. It will deliver its findings in October, and I encourage you to have a look at what they will publish around that time. So in a nutshell, France aims at being a decisive part of this really game-changing paradigmatic revolution. And in that regard, the content of today and tomorrow's high-caliber conference is of the utmost importance for us. I wish you a very, very good conference. Merci beaucoup.
Good morning, everyone. My name is François Sillon. I'm the Deputy CEO for Science at INRIA. So I'm in charge of the science part, and I have colleagues that are in charge of the technology transfer part and international relations part, Thierry Priol, who is here, who will speak in a moment. I just wanted to tell you, because I'm not sure that all of you, despite the high reputation of INRIA, I'm not sure all of you know exactly what INRIA is. So we are a French public institution dedicated to research in what we call today digital sciences, basically computer science and applied mathematics. We have been created 50 years ago, as was just mentioned. One thing to give you an idea of the size, INRIA is about, let's say, a little less than 2,000 scientific people in the research teams. So it's may compare to very large or several large university departments. But of course, we're covering almost all of computer science and most of the applied mathematics aspects. And in fact, our research is organized in what we call research project teams. And so maybe that's something that's slightly original in the international landscape, because we don't have individual professors pursuing their own research agenda. We tend to have groups of people who defined a collective aim, collective research goals for a period of a few years. And then we evaluate these research teams every few years, and then people can submit new proposals, and that's how we organize things. The reason I mention this is that we really try to promote the creation of such teams on subjects that require bringing together different types of knowledge and expertise. And for instance, speaking of the blockchain, for instance, we have had for a number of years people who are specializing in cryptology, cryptography, and security in general. We also have had people working on distributed systems of various natures. And now is a good time, I think, to promote the creation of, to assemble teams of people who will be able to bring together these expertises in a complementary way to attack problems such as the blockchain. The motto of INRIA is scientific excellence for technology transfer and society. And so in a maybe not so subtle way, we aim for scientific excellence. Of course, we cannot decide that we're excellent, but we try to recruit good people. On that matter, I should mention that the people hired by INRIA are very international. I think more than half of the doctoral students, PhDs that we hire are not French. And we have more than 100 different nationalities within INRIA. So we are truly, I think, international organization. But the important part is that when we assemble these project teams, we ask them to think about what sort of impact they might have. It could be economic, so technology transfer for the economic sectors, companies, startups, and so on. But also when we say society, it means that we encourage people in our research teams to really think about the practical implications and the transformations that these technologies, for instance, might bring to society in the political, environmental aspects, for instance. And I should mention, me personally, I'm not a specialist of these particular aspects, but when I look at the promise of the blockchain and such, I'm always a bit concerned about the environmental impact, because it's all based on making a very large number of calculations to ensure the good properties that we want to ensure. Now, does this scale, really? Does this place some limitations on when it would be a good idea to use these technologies and so on? These are topics that I think all the researchers involved should really think about. So I'm really pleased to see the topic that was chosen for this conference. As was just mentioned by the French Council, we have a regular series of conferences, and we try to really promote the exchange of ideas between INRIA people and their counterparts, especially here at Berkeley. And I think this topic is really very timely. Just as an anecdote, every week, I think, at the INRIA headquarters, we have companies calling up and saying, well, I'm being told that the blockchain is going to disrupt my entire line of business. What should I do? And I don't know what to tell them. But what I do know is that certainly this is only the beginning. And so that's why I think in terms of research, real research, when I say in French, we always have these debates between fundamental research and applied research. I don't like this distinction, but I think it's important to really look at the basic principles behind all this. And I think we have to really establish research actions to really think about the really underlying reasoning and science above which all of this will be constructed. So that's something we're going to do in the coming years. And in fact, it's one of the topics we've identified in our upcoming strategic plan that will be out next year. So I'm really looking forward to listening to all the talks, and I wish all of us a very good conference. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Thierry Priol. So I am in charge of the European and International Partnership Departments. So within INRIA, we make a distinction between Europe and international, because Europe is, as you probably know, it's European Union. For us, it's very important because it's, I would say, a source of funding for our researchers, and also some opportunities to collaborate with European researchers. And my department also is in charge of elaborating the strategy to develop the international partnerships, and especially INRIA Silicon Valley here, which is one of our international labs. We have 7 INRIA international labs in the world, and this one is one of the biggest in terms of number of collaborations. My department has different instruments to help researchers to collaborate with foreign universities and research organizations. And among these instruments, we have the associate team instruments, which provide funding for a 3 years collaboration. And I would like to tell you that our next call for associate teams will be open end of June. And you will be able to submit proposals with INRIA colleagues by end of September. So today, as for instance, for the INRIA Silicon Valley initiatives, we have 14 associate teams, and we would like to increase this number in the coming years because it's really important to have this collaboration with the best researchers in this area. We would like to also to tell you that you can take benefit of this workshop to do this networking with some INRIA colleagues. So I saw many of them in the room. So I encourage you to discuss with them during the coffee breaks, on the lunch, on the cocktail at the end of the day, because this associate team is a bottom-up approach. Okay, so we are not forcing researchers to submit proposals. They have to discuss with their colleagues in the foreign countries and to submit the proposals. I would like to conclude this by, I would say, some highlights concerning the people involved in the organization of this event. It's the seventh event. We started this in 2011. So I would like to thank Camille Crittenden, Valérie Sarny, who is the director of INRIA at Silicon Valley, Brandy Nonek, and also Géraldine Texier, who were involved in the program committee. And I would like also to thank the participants in the organizing committee, Tania Castro, Laurie Mariano, Jenny Moore, and Karen Stewart. So I wish you very fruitful workshops, and if you would like to discuss with me, please do not hesitate to contact me during the breaks and the lunch. I can explain how we can help you to establish collaborations with our project teams. Thank you.
Thanks very much for those welcoming remarks and the kind opening. I'm Camille Crittenden. I'm Deputy Director of Citrus and want to welcome you here on behalf of our organization. We're really delighted to partner with INRIA and the Consul General's Office to provide this program that we've really thought a lot about in collaboration to highlight this convergence of cutting-edge computer science research and social impact applications. This convergence is really at the heart of the Citrus mission. If you know the acronym, it stands for the Center for Information Technology Research in the Interest of Society. So we take both of those aspects quite seriously, and I think that this event today is nicely emblematic of bringing those areas of concern and interest together. So you've probably read quite a bit in the news about blockchain technology, and especially its applications in the financial sector for Bitcoin and some of the perils and promises of this technology. So we'll be touching on some of those aspects today, but we'll also be looking at the other applications that might not yet have been as widely publicized. So within the healthcare sector, within agriculture, within democracy and voting. I hope that we'll really hear a broad swath of applications of this promising technology of distributed ledgers and smart contracts. Before we start, I just want to thank our sponsors, which are listed up here on the slide and in the program materials that you hopefully have in your hands or available out in the lobby. If not, the Consul General's Office, System X, K&L Gates, the Center for Long-Term Cybersecurity here on the Berkeley campus, the Berkeley Institute for Data Science, Blockchain at Berkeley. This is a student organization that you'll hear some representatives speak later this afternoon, and the Berkeley Center for Law and Technology. So we're excited to have them here. I'm delighted to introduce our opening keynote speaker, Hanna Zubko. Hanna is a founder and CEO at Intellect EU, an integration and development company that has delivered over 200 projects in 26 countries. Hanna has over 10 years of experience in technology for the financial services industry and worked in the blockchain domain for over 3 years. Intellect EU is a founding member of Linux Foundation's Hyperledger project, which we'll hear more about later on today as well, created to advance blockchain technology. In recognition of her entrepreneurial achievements, in 2016, Hanna was invited by President Barack Obama's administration to join the Global Entrepreneurship Summit. Hanna is a frequent speaker at prominent industry conferences and a judge at the InnoTribe Startup Competition. So I'll welcome Hanna to the podium in just a moment. She'll make some remarks, and then we'll have some time for questions from the audience. So if you weren't able to get an index card and a pencil on your way in, we'll have those available, and hopefully have time for some discussion after Hanna's remarks. So please join me in welcoming Hanna to the stage.